Welcome everyone to Session Spotlight. We're excited to have you here again today. Just a reminder, please put your questions in the Q&A and we'll get those out to our leaders today and we can get those questions answered. We're going to start today with Donna Foley, then we're going to have Carol James, Marcy Petrini, Barbara Setsu Pickett, and Marcia Weiss. So don't forget Convergence, 11th through the 17th next July. Seminars, workshops, fashion show, exhibits, tours. You can sign up now. Registration is open. We've got the marketplace, so you can go shopping. We have all kinds of exhibits. The runway fashion show, which is always the highlight of the whole week. We have keynote speakers, tours, and much, much more. We hope we'll see you there. We're going to start with Donna this morning. It's advanced natural dyeing using stock solutions, create a complete palette. This is a one-day workshop. It's on Friday, July the 11th. Hey, Donna.
Hello. Hi, everyone. So my class, I'm already rethinking the title, Advanced Natural Dyeing, because it's really open to everyone. It is, I called it advanced because the class on Thursday is more of a love what you get from natural dyes sort of attitude. And this class is a little bit more fine-tuning it if there's a certain color you are trying to get. So that's why I called it advanced, but it's really open to everyone. It is really actually a good beginner course for anyone who wanted to learn any kind of dyeing, because the basis of this actually can be used for synthetic dyes as well as the natural dye extracts. So the stock solution, so it is a way of getting reproducible colors. That's what this class is a little bit more about. Back about 10 years ago, I had a line of tapestry yarns from the Lincoln sheep that I raised. I had it custom spun and dyed for, or custom dyed for, spun for me, sorry. And then I would do the dyeing and people could order from it. And they would need, like my color card, I had to come close if people were ordering from me. So it's a little bit harder to do when you're working with the raw local plants or the sticks of madder root to make it reproducible, although definitely you can. But a wondrous thing happened. I don't know how long ago, 15 years ago. The first person I knew who did natural dye extracts was Earth Use. And so they actually, like here is kutch, which is like a resin from a tree. You can see it. And that's a little bit more challenging to get into your dye pot and make colors the same every time. But now there are these natural dye extracts that are come in powdered form. And so that is what we will be working with. We're going to be working with measuring things. There's a little bit of math involved, but we will have worksheets and remember how to do a percentage of things. We'll talk of things like depth of shade, and that is something that all dyers talk about, and it can seem intimidating, but these are charts of things we can do with depth of shade. And really it means is how do we can go from a lighter color to a darker color, but that's that same actual color, same hue. And with stock solutions, once again, we can measure precisely and each time be able to get the depth of shade that we want. We will figure out how to make a complete palette, reds, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. We will also be able to talk about if in your work you wanted to do a gradation, you wanted to change from a yellow to this like brickish kind of fuchsia with using measured amounts. A lot of times we use syringes or measuring on a digital scale. We can always move from this yellow to this fuchsia, and we can decide how many steps we want it to be in. So we will come away with lots of samples and notes on how to make colors reproducible. We'll also go through the basic mordanting. We will talk about best case rules for safety too. So I am hoping that the title Advanced didn't scare you off, that you will come and explore dyeing and making your own special palette.
I think it's wonderful. You really emphasizing that it is for beginners, because it just sounds like a great way to get started on that dyeing journey.
Exactly. And like I said, as soon as I looked at the title and it was printed, I'm like, that's going to scare some people off, and they don't have to be scared off. We are going to do this together, and it'll be great.
Now, you may have said this earlier when you were talking about the materials. There is a material fee. Is there also things that people will have to bring?
Well, yes, and I do need to. I will reach out with everyone, but basically, it's the rubber gloves you'll need,
Right.
dust mask. We will, let's see, somewhere, old clothes. If most phones have a calculator, it might be handy to have either your phone or a calculator. And honestly, if you have a lightweight digital scale and you're driving, that could be kind of fun. You can measure out things a little bit on your own, but I'll have several in the class too. So the materials fee is mainly to we'll have pre-mordanted yarns, once again, mini skeins for people to play around with and go home with, and as well as the the sheets that have a little bit more actual math going on in them. So yeah,
that'll be great. That'll be a great resource, because how much do we really remember once we leave the classroom? Those will be great resources when you get back to home and try it on your own.
Yeah, so the other thing is a Sharpie, so we can write notes on skeins. So these are all those little things I kind of forgot, but I will reach out to the class member. It's all those little things. It won't be anything huge that you have to bring.
And there is a material list online when you get ready to look into that. Again, I want to thank Donna for being on here. We have an error on the slide. It is actually Friday the 12th. Not Friday the 11th. So Donna Foley, if you want to learn how to dye, this is a class for you. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Carol James. Carol's going to do Intro to Sprang. It's a 3-day workshop. It's Monday through Wednesday, July 15th through the 17th. Hi, Carol.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Glad to have you here.
Yay. Well, I'm really happy to be here. I have this opportunity to talk to you about this. So I am still seeing this black page that says Kathy Group. Do I need
You're
to
good.
do something?
We see you.
Oh, you do? Oh,
Yes.
okay. That's excellent.
You look marvelous.
Well, I'm thinking that people have a couple of questions. Question number one is, what the heck is Sprang anyhow? What can you do? Why should I learn how to do this? It's a very ancient technique for making cloth. Some research suggests it predates weaving. And I'm going to show you quick how this works. My really quick demo is that we have one string going back and forth between the two ends of the frame, and work at one side of the frame. I manipulate the threads so that they connect with their neighbors, and working at this side of the frame, then we also get the threads connecting at the other side of the frame. Successive rows, threads have different partners, and that's what makes that the cloth starts happening. That every time you work a row here at the top, every one row of work gives you 2 rows of cloth. One row at the top, and then we have a mirror image row at the bottom. And then you want to say, wait a minute, slow down, let me see how that works. Well, that's what the class is about. You also want to know what happens at the middle. Well, there are options for what happens at the middle, and that's, again, what we're going to talk about in class. We start off with a frame. You get a frame just like that one that you get to take home. It'll be set up. We'll work on teaching your fingers how to do the stitches. I also look at what kind of irregularities can happen. There's no wrong stitches in Sprang, just different stitches, but you want control to have consistent stitch. Class time is limited and precious, so I want you to make several small things. You want to work for the beginning, the middle, and the end. Do the beginning, the middle, and the end several times so that at the end, you'll have confidence with the technique. What can you make with Sprang? Well, first of all, this is a class that focuses on technique, not the project. Nevertheless, we will make several small bags, and it ends up being a real stretchy kind of cloth, so that there's no weft. nothing to limit it. So it becomes a very stretchy kind of thing. We'll make several things, little bags. You can also make like fingerless mittens that hug your hands really nicely. It's a lovely technique. A number of structures are possible, and some of them can even look very like woven cloth, just depending on how you do the stitch. Once you're confident with the technique, then we can talk about eventually what you do after class, making garments. Anything that you can imagine knitting has been done in ancient times: hats, scarves, sweaters, shirts, leggings, including leggings. So I'm wearing a pair of Sprang leggings. You see Sprang leggings, these vertical stripe leggings. I'm thinking from ancient time, Renaissance times were made using this technique, and you too will know how to do it. The technique was known to the ancient Greeks, the ancient Romans, Egyptians, done all across Europe into the early 1800s. There's a great deal to Sprang. It comes up repeatedly in human history, and this tells me that it's a technique that people like. This sideways stretch and lack of vertical sag makes it a very adaptable technique, excellent for human clothing. So if you've been watching the Convergence fashion show, you will have seen several Sprang shirts there. And I'm hoping that you will be intrigued, enticed to begin your Sprang journey at Convergence next summer.
Well, I always have to ask about the skill level, because I know I'm clueless. So if I come
You know
in
what? I start with no experience necessary.
Oh, good.
It helps if you can do right hand and left hand. And you do need finger dexterity. You know what? To be honest, weavers have some, from a Sprang perspective, bad habits that you need to unlearn.
Oh,
so yeah,
well.
No experience necessary.
Now, am I bringing my yarn? Are you providing the yarn? Is that in the materials list?
I provide the yarn.
Okay.
I like to provide the yarn. I provide the frame, the yarn. There's some shed sticks, there's some rubber bands, there's some clips, there's a number of other little gizmos that you may or may not want to acquire. I have in class. Yeah.
I love it that you
bring your fingers, bring your glasses if you need them to read.
I love it that you get the frame, and that could go in a suitcase, right?
Yes, it comes. I show you how to take it apart. Actually, I show you if your piece isn't quite finished, when it's time for the suitcase, I show you how to take it apart, saving the piece, stow it, and then you reconstruct it once you get home again. Yes.
So this is a great class for someone who can't or doesn't want to bring supplies. You can hop on.
It's also a great class for somebody who travels a lot, and your husband won't let you take your loom in the trailer to go, traveling. It travels very well.
Oh, wonderful. And I do want to restate that those leggings were on the runway fashion show, right?
That was a different pair of leggings.
Was it?
Yeah.
All right. So Sprang is very versatile. I like that. So thank you so much, Carol. This is a great class. If anybody wants to make those fingerless gloves for me, just go right ahead. Those look amazing. It's an introduction to Sprang. It's a 3-day workshop, Monday through Wednesday, July 15th through the 17th. If you want more information, go to our website or look in your book. And just a reminder, the materials list is online so you can see. Thank you, Carol.
You're welcome.
Next up, Marcy Petrini. She's going to tell us that not all blocks are created equal. This is a 90-minute seminar. It is Thursday morning, July the 11th. Hey, Marcy.
Hi.
Welcome.
Here.
There you are.
I'm going to share my screen. Can you see it? Can you see it?
Not yet.
Can you see it?
Not yet.
Oh, sorry, I guess I was muted. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see your screen yet.
Marcy, I think you have a slow internet
Can I
connection.
start?
You're freezing.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So
my
maybe
talk
stop your
on the
camera.
seminar on July 11th is going to be on blocks, and we're going to talk about how different blocks are different. The first thing what I wanted to do was to define a block. Unlike what the dictionary says, we do think about square and rectangular shapes as our blocks, but certainly we don't think of a solid piece of material. Any structure can be organized in blocks, yes, even plain weave, and there is a log cabin that does look like blocks, and it's organized with by changing the color and weave.
All right,
Huh?
we're seeing your screen, Marcy.
Oh, okay, you couldn't see it before?
Nope. But we got you now. I
Okay,
think your
so
internet's just slow.
this is the definition of a block. Okay. Now is what would you like to do with that block? Do you have a project in mind, or are you thinking of a specific motif that you like to use, or do you have some aesthetics that you like to employ? Or is there a structure that you would like to try? All of these are legitimate questions when you look about blocks, and that's Bateman's Park weave at the bottom there. Same. Most structures can be adopted for most any item, but there are some that are really good matches. You know about hot toweling, and there is a hot front and back, which would be great for a towel. And then fabrics that have a supplementary warp or weft are good for upholstery, pillows, and sturdier fabrics. Then you have the motifs decision. Do you want to combine blocks or not? On the left, you have a tile Lithuanian, which is, you can see that the blocks have been combined. On the right is Mixtal, which is a subset of Huck, and the teeny weeny blocks, so they cannot be combined.
Hey, Marcy.
And
just
then
want-
what aesthetics
Marcy?
do you like? Do you like solid blocks like you find in Monk's Belts or in Monk's Belts or Overshot? Or do you like steeple blocks like you find in summer and winter? And then you have to think about the number of shafts. Yeah.
Marcy, you have a slow internet connection, so we have turned off your camera. You'll want to advance, and we are just now seeing your slide that says, what is a block? So your slide should not keep up with what you were speaking. So we stopped your camera to make it a little bit better on the connection.
Okay.
So
I've never had this problem before. Okay, so I should start from this slide.
yeah, we're seeing what is a block.
What do you see?
The slide that says, what is a block? Now we see, what would you like to do?
Okay. Now what I have on my screen is what is a block? Do I need to go over that again?
No, I don't think you need to go over the information. We stopped your camera so that we have a better connection, but there is a lag.
Okay. Okay, so I should start from what is a block?
You're at form follows function now.
Oh, it seems to be going backwards.
Are you hitting any buttons?
No, I mean, I went back to the beginning, but of course I scrolled back up. So right now on my screen is what would you like to do? Is that what you see?
No, we see form follows function.
Okay.
Marcy, I
let
think
me
you're
get
just
to
going to have
forms.
to talk.
Okay,
because
now
don't
I have
know.
form follows function. Is that good?
No, it's not matching. So what you may want to do is go ahead and talk without sharing your PowerPoint.
Okay. Okay, it's gonna be hard, but okay, so we have decisions to be made based on the number of, so we have decisions that to be made based on what's good for a fabric, what's ideal for a fabric. Hock is good for toweling, pillows do better, pillow and upholstery are ideal for fabrics that have a supplementary warp or weft. We have to think about motifs. Some structures allow us to combine the blocks, others do not. We also have to think about the look of the blocks, what I like to think of aesthetic. Some we have solid blocks, and in other cases, like solid blocks will be M&Os and overshot. Then we have blocks that are steepled, or they have some kind of patterning, as Donna Sullivan calls them, in the middle of a block, like summer, winter. We have to think about the number of shafts that a structure requires, but we shouldn't let the number of shafts available be a deterrent, because we can always change the motif, and so that you can simplify it, add color, and be creative and get a fabric to your liking with any kind of block that you would like. We also have to think about treadles. Sometimes a block and you have more treadles needed than you have on your loom, but that too can be simplified by using two feet. As part of the seminar, participants will receive basically a booklet that will have all the different kinds of blocks. It will be not only the blocks for not only the fabrics as you've seen here, but the drawdowns. Of course, you see more than you get more than what we talked about today. There will be drawdowns for the various fabrics and pictures, photos of the fabrics, and divided into the type of fabrics that they are and what kind of use they can use. Thank you for attention. I'm sorry about the internet issue. I'm not sure what happened.
Well, you know how it is. Internet's great until it isn't. So thank you so much for sharing with us, Marcy. Now, again, this sounds like a great class for somebody who knows how to weave, but they're still learning. Is that true?
Yes, and as I said, we'll go over the blocks so that you don't have to worry about not knowing what the different blocks are.
Wonderful. I know blocks are very confusing for people at times. And Marcy, thank you so much for being here today. And again, this is not all blocks are created equal.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Barbara Setsu Pickett. She's doing weave Ikat velvet using Uzbek techniques. Ooh, this looks good. Hi, Barbara.
Hello, busy. This is a 3-day workshop, and it's weave Ikat velvet using Uzbek techniques. Oh, what's this? Okay. Do you see it?
Yes.
Okay, and so here we go. And in back of me are Ikat velvets, and I'm wearing a beautiful Ikat velvet jacket here. So I've been obsessed with velvet since 1981 and have studied velvet weaving in many ateliers in the world. The Uzbek's dazzling color and geometric pattern velvets come from dyeing the pile warp before weaving. You see, I'm going back here. Okay. This 3-day workshop focuses on learning the essential steps in Ikat velvet: the designing, resist, dyeing, and weaving. The weave structure is simply solid cut velvet. We can't duplicate the 37 steps, but by reducing them, we can see the process. We'll use 20/2 cotton for both ground weave and pile instead of filament silk. The designs will be 2 colors instead of 7. We'll work with 15 piles per inch instead of 35. Students come with their 4 to 8 shaft looms dressed with the ground weave and stand-in pile warps. In the workshop, they will design their Ikat velvet by ranging and rearranging the already dyed pile warps similar to the profile draft. Velvet is a pile weave structure. The tufted surface is made by lifting the dyed supplementary warp piles over a slim rod or wire and then interlacing them into a firm ground. The pile is usually cut by inserting a blade in a minuscule groove in the wire and drawing it down its length. Students will be able to borrow cutting tools from me or buy the kit with 6 brash slats, a scalpel handle, and 2 blades at my wholesale price. I hope to offer a real velvet knife and a set of hand-drawn velvet wires. Last summer, the Lizio Foundation bought 8 wires at €140 a piece, and my set will cost $200. So my teachers are master designers and weavers. I work with them at the International Folk Art Market in Santa Fe and then in the Fergana Valley in Uzbekistan. Once I have the roster, I shall send out a PDF of the instructions manual for the students to print out. Uzbek design is based on the libet, the smallest bundle of pile warps that work as a unit through the whole process. Here, 100 libets are wound on a sturdy frame. Each libet is wound into a loop, resists tied together, and then dyed. Here, all 100 libets are tied ready for the first dye bath. I'll show a PowerPoint of the full Uzbek process. Then we'll tie the dyed pile warps to the dummy warps, unwind the libet loops for weaving. Next is resist binding and dye activity, and with organzine, silk organzine, and then weaving the ikat itself, as many repeats as you can get done. Although we work with only 2 colors, we'll learn how to map the dye process to achieve the 7 colors of traditional Uzbek velvet. The $45 materials fees include the dye piled warps, the silk organzine thread for resist binding and dyeing process, the dye stuffs and the auxiliary chemicals needed, and the binding materials. Besides using the usual weaving tools, students need to bring their prepared looms, either table or floor loom, a belt, not a stick shuttle, some kind of weight to tension the pile warp like a bottle of water, rubber gloves for the dyeing process, an old towel for cleanup, 2 large C-clamps to stretch the libet loops, and a smooth wood or metal rod or boat shuttle bobbin to elevate the pile over the ground, a seam ripper, and a flash drive for updated files. On skill level, I think that an intermediate weaver could do just fine. You'll need to know how to read a draft, thread, and dress a shaft loom, and be comfortable handling fine threads. Any questions?
This just sounds like an amazing class. It's so unusual. I can easily see someone who wants to go to that next level and try something new. This would be a great class for that.
I'd love to. I'm really excited about teaching this class. It's the first time I'm really attempting to do the full Uzbek method. And maybe some people in the class would like to go with me to Uzbekistan and see it actually, because that's my intention, is to have a return trip. Yeah,
that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Barbara. We appreciate you sharing with your classes.
Oh, thank you.
Again, that's Weave Ikat Velvet using Uzbek techniques. It's a 3-day workshop. It looks fascinating, and it's July 15th through the 17th. Next up, we have Marcia Weiss. Hi, Marcia. The Joy of Double Weave, Pleats and Multi-Widths. It's the 2-day workshop. It's Sunday and Monday, July 14th through the 15th. Marcia, you're going to be one busy woman.
That's the best thing about Convergence. There's so many amazing things to do, and it's a great group of people with whom to do it. So
yes, true.
I am going to share my screen. And let's see, slideshow from the beginning. Here we go. All right, so this is a 2-day workshop, The Joy of Double Weave, Pleats and Multi-Widths. So double weave has been my very happy place. I confess, since undergrad, so for quite a number of decades. Had a brilliant professor in undergrad, and I've continued to work with double weave all these years. So the details on this, let me move us out of the way. There we go. So the details. This is a class that's an on-loom class. Again, it's a 2-day workshop. A 4-shaft or greater loom, could be floor loom or table, whatever you're comfortable with. 12 inches minimum width in the reed, can be wider. It's very helpful if you have some experience weaving, that you're able to warp a loom, that you're able to read a draft. Those would be super helpful. So it's not true beginner, but if you've never woven double weave before, this class can be the right workshop for you. In advance of Convergence, you'll be sent instructions about the warp and about threading the loom. So kind of very specific information. And I'm very good at answering questions in advance. So you'll come to Convergence, or at least to this workshop, with a pre-warped and threaded loom, so we can jump right in. And what will we be doing? So we, of course, will be doing pleats. Love pleats. And I think pleats are ridiculously magical. I see it in my work. Practically every week I have a student trying out pleats for the first time, and it's this wonderful aha moment when it works. And it does work pretty easily once you know the trick. So we're going to be doing pleats. Here you can see some relatively recent examples of pleats off my loom at home, and the center lower picture in the middle, this one actually uses flax that I grew in my garden as part of the Pennsylvania Flax Project. We're also going to be working in multi-widths. So have you had a project where you wished you had a wider loom? Here's how you can get there. So it could be double width, it could be triple width, quad width, depending on the number of harnesses you have to play with. So here's a great opportunity to really maximize what you can do on your equipment. And again, it's just a lovely opportunity that's all based on shuttle path. So not terribly complicated. Once you understand the process, it's actually pretty straightforward. But wait, there's more. There's always bonus things. So in addition, we'll also explore tubular textiles and weaving 2 separate layers of cloth. There is a $5 materials fee, and for that fee, you'll be receiving a multi-page full color booklet that walks you through all the processes that we'll be doing in class. It will also contain the information that you will have received in advance of the class. There's always a few bonus things inserted into the booklets, which I want to leave it at that. I don't want to spoil the surprises because they always are these sort of joyful moments. But I seriously hope that you'll join us in Wichita. I would love to see you, and hopefully you'll take one of the workshops with me or with one of the other brilliant leaders who've been speaking today. So I hope to see you in Wichita. Thanks so much.
Marcia, I may be completely off base here, but yesterday you talked about the seminar you were giving on reading the draft. Would that help, or would that just confuse someone if they took that first and then took your class? Because it's the day before, I think.
It is the day before, and that would be, like, people are very welcome to take both. You don't have to, but you're very welcome to do so. I always think the more often that information is reinforced, the better. It helps.
That's what I was thinking.
Understand. Yeah.
I have to hear things several times before I get it, because I was just thinking how great it would be if you took the seminar and then you came into the class. So there's an option, folks. If you're thinking about, if you really want to get into this double weave, that's another option for you. Thank you so much, Marcia. We appreciate you sharing about your class. The Joy of Double Weave, Pleats, and Multi-Width. It looks amazing. It's a 2-day workshop, Sunday through Monday, and it's July 14th through the 15th. So sessions, lots of sessions. If you can't decide, this is why, because there's 150 of sessions and workshops. Some, as we've talked about, are 90-minute. You can take a 3-hour seminar. You can take 1, 2, or 3-day workshops. You're probably seeing how some of them work together, like Marcia's, and there's other ones that you can take an introduction, and then maybe later in the week take something more, or you can do something completely different. Don't forget your CVP package. It gives you a 25% discount on all your classes, but be sure you do that separate from buying your classes or you won't get the discount. You do have to have an HGA membership to take a class, so you can purchase that online too. So if you have more questions, go to the website and you can see a lot of information about these classes. Registration's open, so you can jump in there and start registering. You don't have to register all at once. If you want to register now and take one class and then learn some more and add another one, you can. There is a change fee, so you might want to think it through, but go to weavespndi.org/sessions and you can see all the write-ups about these sessions. Thank you all so much for being in here today and learning about our leaders. You can see all of these. These are all recorded and you can see them on the Facebook page, the HGA Facebook page, if you want to go back and catch one that you didn't get. Convergence, July 11th through the 17th in Wichita. We hope we'll see you there.